Hello everyone, I'm Santiago and today I'm gonna be testing Hogwarts Legacy on the Steam Deck. So I tried this on multiple GPU configurations and now it's time for the Steam Deck. The game releases today in a few hours. I'm not sure if the day one patch is already in place, but I'm not sure most of the things I have a problem with are going to be fixed in a day, so keep that in mind. We're going to retest this once new patches come out if I see any difference. So the settings is 1280 by 800, Steam Deck's native resolution, FSR 2 on quality, so it's 534p, but it's using a smart upscaling. There's also Intel's and Nvidia solution and FSR 1.0 that works completely differently to FSR 2, so worth keeping in mind. Then going down here, I increased the FOV a little bit, nice. Then the other thing is turned off. And in the settings, I'm going for all low settings. So far the textures look okay on low. You can crank them up if you want to, but I saw a negative effect on the VRAM and RAM usage. So let's enable the FPS overlay. First of all, I'm going to show you a 30 FPS cap, which I forgot to enable. And the FPS cap in-game, make sure that it's uncapped. Not sure why it's there by default, but the one in the game feels inconsistent. So I've been playing a lot of this game, a lot of it, on many computers, and so far I saw places with a high density of foliage is when the GPU suffered the most. So yeah, even a few put effects close to it. But the main issue with the game is when you're running around Hogwarts, that is right here, or Hogsmeade, that the game is loading lots of stuff very quickly. It stutters all over the place. I tried it on my main computer, a Ryzen 9 5900X, an RTX 3090 and 32GB of RAM. Well, it still stutters, so it seems to be an issue with the game. As you can see here, when I go through a door, a huge drop. It's probably how the game handles loading stuff in the background. Not entirely sure. But it's worth noting that, well, the game recommends at least 16GB of RAM, and the Steam Deck does have 16GB of very fast memory, but it has to share that memory with the... See, it's not loading. There we go. There it loaded the place that we're entering. So as I was saying, it has 16GB, but it has to share that RAM with the graphics card, the GPU. So the GPU is taking around 4GB, in this case 6GB. So we're using all the video memory, basically. All the video memory and system memory on the lowest settings. And that's been a common theme. I played it on, again, a machine with 32GB of system RAM. And it was using like 21 gigs, which is insane. By the way, this is installed on the SSD. And the VRAM allocated is 4GB on the BIOS. And it's on the SSD. So don't try it on the SD card. It takes forever to load. And I notice more stutters. But the main thing is that Valve considers this game Steam Deck verified. And I tried it on Monday or Tuesday. And it was unplayable. It was stuttering all over the place, way more than it's stuttering right now. Right now it's a dream in comparison to how it was on day one. So that's great, and that's because Valve pre-compiled shaders, so when you download the game, it'll download the shaders as well. So you don't get that annoying stutter when you move the camera or see an effect for the first time. So yeah, the only issues that are left to fix is that when you're running around on Hogwarts, that you get stutters. That seems to be a general issue with the PC version. Otherwise, it's completely playable. But when you go to foliage heavy areas, it's going to go through the GPU very quickly. So it's going to use a lot of resources. And again, Hogwarts when running around. Let's go to Hogsmeade. Hogsmeade is a town. And on this one I had a lot of drops as well, as in Hogwarts. Not entirely sure why. But again, it doesn't seem to be shader compilation. Valve, again, precompiled the shaders and you can now download them, so it's actually playable now, at least for me. So I would say my recommended settings is FSR 2 on quality, on native resolution, so 1280 by 100 with FSR2, that drops the resolution. Then everything on low. Anything higher was basically unplayable. Seems to be loading. Come on, load the assets. There we go. So it's way more stable than before, which is great to see. I was a little disappointed that Valve made this as Steam Deck verified, but it was a stuttery mess. Well, they now fix most of it by pre-compiling those shaders, like they did on Dead Space 1 remake. So yeah, pretty impressed. I want to get to fly at some point. I want to do a stress test soon enough. But I think this is the best way to experience the game, both graphically and on the performance side. You can also target 40 FPS, which we're doing in a moment. Let me unlock the frame rate, which I do not recommend in this case. But by default, the game is playing, as you can see, there's more stutter when I uncap the frame rate. The CPU suffers more. And the CPU, if the CPU is used more, the GPU clock will drop a little bit because they share the clocks, I guess. I don't know exactly how it's that, but usually if the GPU clock is very high, the CPU clock will start dropping and the other way around as well. So uncapped frame rates, not recommended because it's even worse, the stutter, as you can see here. I was just running around a moment ago and it was fine. Now, not anymore. The CPU gets destroyed, basically. So yeah, what I recommend now, let's do the 40 FPS configuration, which unfortunately I cannot do that in docked mode. So yeah, apologies about that. I cannot change the refresh rate while recording this. But by default, the game is on FSR 1.0 unbalanced. So FSR 1.0 unbalanced looks way worse because the upscaler works differently. But it's a higher FPS boost than FSR 2. FSR 2 uses more resources, but I think it's good for best quality of the resolution while maintaining 30. And now we are on FSR 1 on balanced, which is the default configuration, that is 472p. And it doesn't look pretty like this. As you can see, it looks very blurry, but you have some room to spare to lock it to 40. Right now, again, I cannot lock it to 40 because I'm not in handheld mode and I cannot record the screen directly. So you'll have to trust me on this one. Lock it to 40, keep it on FSR 1 on balanced or quality. I think quality should be okay. But if you experience drops in quality mode on FSR 1, consider going to balance. I think quality, it's okay. We're very close to 40 in those cases. There we go. So again, full edge heavy area, about 40. You move the camera and you're going to drop stuff because we are with uncapped frame rates. But most of the time it should be into the 40s, so that's great. Let's go back to Hogwarts, which is the, the CPU heavy. Alright, time to go. So, first of all, let's go outside Hogwarts. And again, as you can probably notice even on the video, quality FSR 1 looks way worse than quality FSR 2. Which is not surprising. But it performs way better. Okay, it loaded the assets. Come on, load the assets. Yeah, this is how the game works. Okay. Okay, by going outside, as you can see, it drops. Again, uncapped frame rate, not great for the CPU and the GPU clock. And this is one of those instances when the game drops into the upper 30s. Here, if this bothers you, balanced FSR 1, the game will look much blurrier, but it should be closer to 40 most of the time, even in bigger locations like this. In general, this is one of the few that I found that run like this. There is so much grass, so keep that in mind. Let me rest so I can wait for the sun to come up. So my advice personally, since I like the game to look a little bit sharper, I rather play on FSR 2. Image quality is much better. you get more consistent frame rates. As you can see now, we're into the 40s, which is good. Just lock it to 40, put the refresh rate of the Steam Deck to 40, and as of right now, until they release a patch or something to fix the stutter when running inside of Hogwarts, you should be good to go. Just don't keep the frame rate uncapped or you're going to see what you're seeing here. Insane frame time spikes that are still there with the 40 FPS cap, but it's not as bad. And sometimes you get that loading screen at the doors, even on an SSD. So yeah, lock it to 40, refresh rate at 40, looks way smoother than 30, but you get a lower resolution. So yeah, that's basically it. Thanks Valve for uploading the shader cache so the game doesn't stutter more than it already does. I consider this now playable on the Steam Deck, especially on the 30 FPS configuration. And to finish up the video, I'm going to do some combat probably, but again, my advice, FSR quality, FSR2 on quality for the best visuals, low settings, lock it to 30, or FSR1 balanced or quality, you gotta check there. Lock the refresh rate to 40, and then lock the frame rate to 40, and it should be okay. But again, stutter, inevitable right now. It's a thing with the PC version, happens on all my machines so far. But the extra stutter that the Steam Deck had a few days ago is basically improved due to the shaders that Valve compiled for us that are available to everyone using a Steam Deck. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did playing the game. And I'll do one very quick gameplay of some combat with the 30 FPS cap, which is what I enjoy the most here. Alright guys, we're going to do some combat, early combat, not the beginning of the game because that's not demanding at all. The problem is inside of the Hogwarts castle. So I went back to 30 FPS because it's my preferred configuration for this particular game on the Steam Deck. Low settings, FSR2 on quality. Let me show you very quickly. This is for the end of the video, so I might as well take my time. FSR2, quality, 800p, everything on low, and a 30 FPS cap from the Steam Deck's menu, as you can see there. So let's go. I gotta get out of this room. Thank you very much. And let's do some minor combat there. As you can see with the 30 FPS cap, it's more stable. Not perfect, but much more stable than before. And I don't know, I like combat in this game so far. Pretty interesting. Come on, load. Open the door, please. Open the door. Thank you. Nice view. Again, loading assets. Okay. Trial by combat. Let's do battle. I'm skipping everything so you guys don't have to wait.
I'm certain. Yes.
Okay, we're going to put some effects on screen. Of course, this fight is not outside. It's inside the castle.
That's the spirit.
But still, better than nothing, I guess. To at least show more than just the outside. Also, I'm sorry, but I didn't have time to practice. Jesus, I don't have healing items. There we go. Get wrecked. Oh, I died. Dang it. I had to pay more attention. This is round 3 though. But you can retry as many times as you want. Let's go! Okay, here we go. Cue in the Dark Souls music. Also, this is the first time I fight against four enemies. I'm usually used to 2 enemies at most, so that's interesting. But as you can see, it stabilizes rather quickly, which is good. And I died again. Dang it, I still do not pay attention at all.
Care to try again?
But it's good that you can try again as many times as you like. So yeah, that was a slight showing of the combat. Very bad combat. But again, on low settings you get good shadows. I'm pretty impressed that low settings looks this good. It blows my mind how far we come. I remember when low settings was N64. Although the shadow draw distance is pretty low, but that's expected. With FSR on quality, FSR2, better said, looks pretty good. So yeah. Still needs work, needs patching from the devs themselves for the PC version to be up there. Otherwise, on the Steam Deck, considering how it runs on the PC, it's pretty impressive. Just make sure to target 30 for the Vex experience and 40 if you don't mind lowering the visual fidelity significantly. Anyway guys, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this look at the game. Again, if there's any big update that changes performance, I'm going to be here to show you. And I'll see you next time. Bye guys.